Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to our conversation with Addie Kinsinger. Addie is from Arizona and has been a staunch supporter of AECT for decades. And the point of our interview and our discussion with Addie today is to let's get to know her a little bit and what she's all about, how she got involved with AECT, how she got there, and what are some of her feelings as to what the technology is going to be like today. So first, we'll say hello to you, Addie.
Hi.
And welcome. And let's begin by a few comments as to your original background. How did you get to Arizona and from where?
Got to Arizona because my husband was hired as the provost at Arizona State University. We had been in Michigan at Michigan State University for probably 25 years. I think prior to that I had been a teacher in New York State, in Pennsylvania, and in Ohio. Short 1 or 2 years because we were finishing degrees in various places and had to give equal time to each partner. I always wanted to be a teacher from the time I was 4th grade, and I had a horrible teacher, and so I decided I could teach better than she could. My goal to go to college was what drove me through all of the rest of my elementary and high school years. I was successful in getting a scholarship to a private college in Ohio, a very small one, Hiram College, and had what I thought was a fantastic, almost individualized education because it was small. We got to know our professors, and I really enjoyed being there. I ate up every moment of it. Had what I thought was a fantastic education. Proved me well. I started to teach and I taught math, high school economics, history, and then in Michigan I decided to go back to school, get a master's degree in library science, which I started and worked on. At the same time, I decided to look into what they had available at Michigan State University. They convinced me to get involved in their program, which was one of the most outstanding ones in the United States. People like Charlie Schuler, Kent Gustafson, Erling Jorgensen, and the people who wrote the textbooks that we were using were invited to be guests at a 6-week program funded by the National Defense Education Act. And this was in somewhere in 1965. That changed my life in terms of it being introduced to AECT. I heard about it from almost every one of the guest speakers, and I got very, very thrilled about joining the group and getting involved.
At that time, AECT wasn't called AECT. What was it called?
I have the slightest idea. I don't remember it ever being called anything else.
It was called the Department of Audiovisual Instruction. It was a subset of the National Education Association.
Yes, I knew that part.
Yeah, and so in any event, there you were working with AECT, as we'll call it, and what was it that kept you there? You've been there ever since. There's decades.
Well, because the people that I met, like Charlie Schuler and Woody Miller and Erling Jorgensen, kind of just opened doors for me. What are you interested in, Addie? How can we help you pursue your interests? And I found it to be, I'm an opportunist. I just kind of jumped in with both feet and said, okay, I'm ready, let's go.
You're beginning to profile some behaviors, though, on the part of those early leaders.
Oh, yes.
That seem to repeat themselves.
They were available.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was a stranger, a teacher. The thing that was exciting about all of that is that I learned how to do things like write grants. I went back to my school district, started writing grants, and got every possible kind of equipment that I could put in the schools that was going to introduce them to anything that could be called media technology. And then I had to teach them how to use it, which meant I had to learn how to use it.
And where was that in those days?
In Okemos, a community just outside of Lansing, Michigan, East Lansing, where Michigan State is.
Okay.
It was an exciting time for me, and it was an exciting time for the school district. The superintendent was so generous with funding, and the school board giving me pretty much carte blanche to just go ahead and equip. They built schools with media centers in them. They built foreign language labs. They built science labs. They got all kinds of things to teach, improve the teaching of mathematics. How could you not be excited about that?
And you're using new terms, too, because you mentioned media center. And, of course, in the early times, that wasn't called that. There wasn't one. Was
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Okay.
But, Dick, my media center was the center of the school. It was the center of learning. And I was the teacher as well as being the person who put it all together.
Yeah. Okay. Well, take us now into more of the more recent future. What's been the track of your work within AECT? I know you started as a member. Well, how did you get to be president of AECT?
Oh boy. Well, in '69, I decided that I needed to join AECT, and Woody Miller dragged me to convention, and he said, "Now, what are you really interested in?" And I said, okay, government relations, legislation at the national level, how I can impact whatever is going to happen in schools to improve education. But mostly, I want to learn about learning. Then the next thing that happened was I've never missed an AECT convention since then. That was 1969. I went to every convention, and after the second or third one, all of a sudden I'm in charge of the Government Relations Committee. And then I'm in charge of leadership, because those are things that are dear to me.
And of course, with that kind of stepping stone from chairing a program or chairing a task force, you moved then up the leadership ladder until at some point the folks seemed to think that you'd make a pretty good president.
Yes.
And you became one.
Yes.
And now looking at the present, how have things changed between then and now?
Gotten better, stronger, expanded the realm of committee and task force things that are done that affect learning, affect the use of technology and how it impacts learning. I have maintained all along that you have to grow up with what's happening in the world, not just your own little classroom.
And so you have moved from the presidency now to be involved with the ECT Foundation, which
Yes.
is the charitable arm of the organization. As we begin to close out this interview, what do you feel is important in that role?
Well, the reason I wanted to get involved was the fact that I wanted to do for other young people what had been available to me. I got a scholarship that changed my world, literally, and helped me reach my goals. I wanted to be able to do that. And I figured, okay, there's an organization I can be a part of. And I can be, people keep telling me I have a lot of enthusiasm. Well, I figured I could use some of that enthusiasm to go out and do the rah-rah stuff that's necessary to raise funds. And I believe strongly in the scholarship program and the intern program. And I always want to be involved in it as much as I can be.
And you certainly have been. Addie, it has been a distinct honor to have had these few moments with you. And I'm hopeful that the students who will be viewing this and the others who see it will get a sense of why it is that Addie Kinsinger is still a stalwart supporter of AECT. Thank you so much for being with us.
My pleasure. It's been my reward. And year after year, I know that I devote a lot of time to AECT, and I want to continue to do that.
We hope you do. And thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.